On Storyboard this week, Hindustan Unilever's Lifebuoy launches the next stage of their Help a Child Reach 5. The branding, packaging and marketing for Britannia's brand Good Day is revamped as the brand narrows down the focus to a smile. And Pepsi Studio releases the trailer of its short film Black Knight Decoded. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shivani Gharat. One campaign that has been etched in our memories since it broke about 3 years back is Lifebuoy's Help a Child Reach 5. Hindustan Unilever has now launched the next stage of the campaign, which focuses on the importance of washing hands during a woman's neonatal period. That is the first 28 days after the birth of a child. Storyboard editor Anant Rangaswami spoke to Samir Singh, Executive Director, Hindustan Unilever, about the third leg of the Help a Child Reach 5 campaign and also about the impact that the campaign has seen since its inception. Let's listen in to the conversation.
कुंती का बच्चा पहले 2 हफ्ते में बीमार पड़ गया था, नहीं बचा।
अब बच्चा पेट से आके थोड़ी बोलेगा साफ सफाई रखो, मेरी जान बचाओ।
पहचाना? मैं हूँ तेरी चमकी। मैं 7 साल आगे से आई हूँ तुझे थैंक यू कहने, और 2 महीने में तो सच्ची आ जाऊंगी, छोटी सी। मैं रोती थी तो हंसाने के लिए थैंक यू, और सबसे बड़ा थैंक यू साबुन से हाथ धोने के लिए। जब मैं छोटी थी तब तू हर बात पे हाथ धोती थी, इसीलिए पहले 28 दिन मुझे कोई भी बीमारी नहीं हुई। तेरी चमकी।
मेरी चमकी ने जो बताया मैं वही करूँगी।
Hello Samir, thanks for talking to us.
Pleasure to be back.
So let's start with first, what's the progress since Gondappa? You know, one village in UP, or MP, sorry, Thesgola. So what has happened since the time you released that film and you made it popular?
No, it's been quite a ride for us, because that film, which was a father walking on his hands to thank God that a child had lived until 5, I think it's really started a movement. We were already doing a lot of work on the ground as Lifebuoy, but I think it's made millions of more people aware of what we were doing and the cause, which is to help a child reach 5. In that actual village which we adopted, and we said we'll not let anyone die of diarrhea, we kept that promise. But more than that, what we have seen is that incidences of diarrhea have come down from 36% to 5% in 6 months of running that hand washing program. And it's not like we did any other intervention about with clean water or any building roads. We didn't do any of that. It was just teaching children and mothers about hand washing.
Right.
So we are very, very happy with what happened. It was a cluster of villages. That's what Thesgora was. Now, of course, we are taking it further.
Yeah, I understand it's broadened now, the scope. It's not just one small geography, you've got
yes,
larger geography.
We are in fact going to 90 lakh people in Bihar, so it will be one of the biggest behavior change programs undertaken at one go. We are doing this in collaboration with the Children's Investment Fund. And it's going to be really big, because the insight that we have now is, apart from the schools program, which is very, very effective in changing behaviors on hand washing, we are also going to be targeting mothers to be, or who have just had children, because what we've realized is that neonatal is one of those big areas. Because, you know, the fact is, in India there are still more than 12 lakh children dying of diseases like diarrhea and pneumonia before they reach the age of 5. But over half those deaths happen in the first 28 days of birth.
Right.
Over half.
Right.
And these are very, very preventable. You know, so if you take the right infrastructure and the right teaching and just get people to wash hands, apart from a few other neonatal interventions, you can drastically reduce the number of deaths and mortality.
You know, we've been speaking for the last few minutes, and I've heard words like neonatal and intervention. No, these are not words we associate with FMCG brands or certainly with Unilever. So what is changing that is causing you to talk this language?
I think actually one of the things on Lifebuoy and actually a lot of other Unilever brands is that there was something in the way that they were invented. You know, Lifebuoy was a brand invented in 1894 by our founder, William Lever. And he was one of those very few people not to name this brand after himself, because usually in the 19th century people name their brands. Because his idea of launching brands like Sunlight and Lifebuoy was to actually create good habits to actually change the hygiene paradigm in Victorian England, because cholera was spreading. And what we did 4-5 years back was return Lifebuoy to those roots about preventing disease and being very single-minded in not just its marketing but also what it did on the ground. And the way it comes together for Unilever as part of our Unilever Sustainable Living Plan is that, you know, we don't believe in charity or CSR. This is about doing things which are good for society, but in a way that they're also good for our business, because that's what makes it sustainable. And we come back to do it year after year rather than as a one-off. And it beautifully comes together, particularly for our brand Lifebuoy, because, you know, the more people wash hands with soap before and during critical occasions like eating or after toilet, the less disease happens. And of course, selling more soap is good for the company. But we do it because in the DNA of this brand, we are inspired by this whole thing of reducing disease and serving our consumers. And that's why you get words like these, because actually they become part of the business model. So doing a health intervention is part of Lifebuoy's business model.
How does this run out? Now, for example, why are you restricting yourself to small geographies? For example, let's say Goa or Bihar. Why not go kaboom like you would do with any normal product launch?
I think the fact is that once you do these behavior change programs at scale, the payback period is very large. So, you know, it's not like a
long,
piece.
You mean?
Long, absolutely. So it's not like a piece of advertising which you can run and then you can see the effect within 3 months, 6 months. These things to pay back require anything between 2 to 4 years. But they are fundamental investments in the brand's equity. And therefore, I would believe that we are doing them at scale because we are saturating a state like Bihar, which could be, you know, as big as Western Europe. So, you know, so it is at scale. But that's not the only thing we do. What we also do is we go to, for example, urban schools all across India. And again, through games and techniques, which are not about saying you have to wash hands 5 times a day. We don't harangue children. We make them look at hand washing as a fun thing to do through cartoon characters, etc. So apart from this Bihar program, we also do that. And that's part of how we build, for example, Lifebuoy hand wash. So at every stage, it is integrated into our business model.
Other set of challenges this presents is you're used to your, say, your media metrics, you know, your GRP and your readership, and the new metrics, you know, saving lives. What do you count, and how do you say that we've done a good job with this? How do you evaluate?
I think as Unilever, what we've done is we've defined it. We release a manifesto every year as part of the Unilever Sustainable Living Plan, as part of the progress report. That is almost like our annual report. You know, and across various parameters, whether it's waste, sustainable sourcing, etc., etc. And part of that is health, hygiene, and well-being, where the leading indicator is, you know, what we are doing with the Lifebuoy hand washing program. And what we have declared there is that we want to reach 1 billion people in terms of directly changing their behaviors. And we've already reached more than 260 million worldwide and more than 65 million in India alone. So we declare these numbers, we rate ourselves red, green or yellow in terms of the progress made.
And finally, something like this requires, say, the active cooperation of a whole lot of other stakeholders, whether it's government or school teachers or panchayats and so on. So is that new learning for you, new sort of...
Absolutely. I think the one thing I've realized is this entire thing can't be done alone. It can't be done alone by governments, can't be done alone by NGOs, and can't be done alone by corporates. But so far, a lot of people have been trying to go it alone. And our approach is exactly the opposite. And you know, SIF, the Children's Investment Fund, is a great example of that. But we have many such collaborations across various NGOs with state governments across the world, which actually help us give the expertise, the infrastructure, sometimes the funding. I think what we bring to the party is that we are experts at behavior change.
Right.
And we have actually done it in every part of the world by getting our hands dirty. We don't sit in the office and
hopefully clean it with Lifebuoy after.
and then cleaned it with Lifebuoy, absolutely. And you know, we've experienced it in every, so, you know, things like when you have to leave, when you do a program in a school, and then when you leave a bar of soap, the fact is that in a country like India or even in Africa, it goes missing within 3 hours. So just designing that little lock on the soap which still keeps it there so that it stays there for 1 month is a huge part about what we do. And those things you can't learn by just doing theory. You have to have learnt it the hard way by having made the mistakes.
Wonderful. Thank you for talking to us, and hope the next time we speak of a number closer to the billion and away from the 260.
Absolutely. The rate we are moving, that should happen very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The journey of a real-life pregnant mother and her aspirations for her unborn child lend an emotional and honest touch to the film. It is time for us to take a short break. When we return, we speak to Britannia's marketing director, Ali Harris Sher, on what has changed for the biscuit brand Good Day and how is it trying to make the consumers smile.